Good afternoon, everybody. Wow, that's very powerful. Good afternoon, everybody. Oh, it feels so good. Thank you all for coming. This is a record turnout for us. We have over 500 people attending this year. So many that there may not be enough food and beverage for all of you at the events. So get there early and eat fast. And drink fast. No, don't do that. So, all of you have been waiting all year long for today's event. Right? Yeah. Anticipating, thinking about it, making plans, getting ready, and of course, I'm talking about tonight at 9 o'clock. Do you know what happens? Amazon Prime, baby. It's the prime day, the day of the year. They expect to do between $800 million and $1 billion in the 24 hours starting this evening. Think about that. Think about how that changes everything in the retail space and what Amazon is doing to everybody else that plays in this space. Think about what they're doing by buying a company called Whole Foods. Who would have thought that a guy that started selling books in his garage would now be running one of the biggest businesses on the planet that would allow him to buy a company like Whole Foods? And industry by industry in retail, he is disrupting, destroying, and reinventing the way that people think about how they do business. And then you have a company like Walmart, who everybody thought was kind of this quiet, big company. They bought Bonobos. How many of you know what Bonobos is? Raise your hand. A few of you. They make fancy men's pants. They have guide shops in places like New York City where you can come and get these really tight jeans. I can't go there. They have this really cool way of selling to you. You go in there, you try on a whole bunch of things. They have these young ladies, 25, 28 years old. They tell you, ooh, that looks nice. Who wouldn't want that? Then you know your size, then you go home and you order it over the internet, remembering how fun it was to be there in the guide shop. And they come perfectly fitted. Orange corduroy pants, just what we all need. But the disruption is not just taking place in retail. It is taking place across every segment of our economy. What's happening with IoT and the ability to track and monitor almost any device on the planet? What's happening with artificial intelligence and how that is rethinking everything the way we do business? We just bought a company called Predictix at Infor. And it's a bunch of men and women, PhD mathematics, who work for DARPA, which is the defense agency, really scary people doing scary stuff. Trying to figure out how you can bring that artificial intelligence and that AI and that machine learning into environments like retail, like manufacturing, like healthcare. How do you bring that in? It's completely revolutionizing it. And one of the great examples of it, another Amazon product, is the Amazon Alexa. How many of you have Alexa at home? Alexa is in millions of houses in this country. It now understands 15,000 separate commands. Just a few short of the number of commands my wife has for me. But the ability of that machine to understand, to interact with us, to reply to us. Think about jobs like customer service jobs where you have a simple question. Think about an army of Alexas out there doing those jobs for you. What is this going to do to customer service? How is this going to reinvent the way we think about business? And that's just one example of the power of AI and what's happening in our industry. It is changing everything, and it is going across all the different spaces. So Internet of Things, AI, all this stuff is going to change radically what we do. From our perspective, if there's any analysts in the room, the analysts have finally caught up to how we're thinking about the world. These are quotes from Gartner and Deloitte. thinking about how we're going to go from linear thinking to network thinking, and that is exactly how GT Nexus was built. Thinking about the world not as a set of discrete things that have to pass data between them, but thinking about them as a network of people, of places, of instruments, all collaborating together. And that is how we think about our business, and that is finally how the rest of the world is beginning to understand how things are going in the future. So, a few highlights about what you're going to see over the next couple of days. One, we have been working diligently on all of our end-to-end assets with improvements in all of them, from planning to collaboration to procurement to financing to supply chain visibility, intelligence. You're going to see demonstrations up here and in the hub of areas that we're working on, each one of those, making improvements in every one of our applications, and giving you a true end-to-end supply chain picture. But we're not just working on them to do incremental changes. What we're working on is instilling in all of those applications a way of thinking, the network thinking, improving the UX, which is the user interface, getting real-time analytics and data quality moved into the applications so that you can get higher value realization and better collaboration with all of your trading partners. So there's a tremendous amount of investment. And we can thank Infor from the acquisition. They've been pumping millions of dollars into our team to allow us to do tremendous changes and tremendous improvements to all of our applications. This is a look at the new UX. It's really beautiful. And admittedly, our old UX was really ugly. So it's an amazing transformation. You have to admit it when the baby's ugly. So it was really ugly. And this new UX is not just better, it's beautiful. And it incorporates what we call the Soho design elements, which are the elements that were developed by Infor's Hook and Loop group as a set of standards that we can pull into all of our applications so that we can guarantee and make all of them look the same across not just all of GT Nexus, but across all of Infor, so that as we build out and integrate more into the different commerce suites of Infor, we can have an application that looks the same, feels the same, and integrates in with it. We now have a mobile application. How many of you have downloaded our mobile application? All the employees and a few other people. You must download this application, take a look at it, play with it, give us feedback. We're going to be demonstrating it today. We're going to be showing it in the hub. We're going to allow you to play with it. We're going to force you to download it. We're going to take your phones away at dinner tonight and download it if you don't already do it. We're going to talk to you about what we're doing with Watchtower, which is the whole bringing together of ETAs and exceptions and alerts and visibility and giving you a tool that's actionable. How can you actually look at your supply chain and action that when there's problems or make changes when there are opportunities? It's all about giving you those tools to be able to do that. Not just visibility, but tools that allow you to make change and do action and take advantage of opportunities when they arise and fix problems as soon as you find out about them. We're also going to show you what we're doing with predictive ETA, which is the marriage of machine learning and our visibility tools, and how you can be very predictive about when those goods are arrived. We have this up and running on Ocean. We're going to be working on it on other modes as well over the next year, but we want you to take a look and see how that is. And then continuous visibility with IoT. Another area that we've been investing a lot, the ability to not just guess at where something is or get a message about where something is, but actually have that something speak to us and tell us where they are. And the ability to have real-time continuous visibility as things are moving through your supply chain. That changes how you think about availability. That changes how you think about where everything is and how I can fix a problem or how I can take advantage of an opportunity. And then real-time pictures of inventory via home pages. We're going to talk to you about home pages. Home pages is an asset that Infor had, which was a set of tools that allows you to develop your own home page. And on that home page, you can pull in a set of widgets. These are four separate widgets that have been pulled into this home page so that you can create a view that matters to you. And those widgets, you don't have to be a programmer to do it. You can do it just by dragging and dropping them. And the home pages is also something that's available this year. Here's an example of analytics and decision support, where we've pulled in a whole set of things so that you can have a dashboard-like experience all in the home page with widgets about information that you care about, things that are important to you. And you can do them by role. You can have somebody that's a transportation planner or somebody that's an accounts receivable specialist. And you can set up these home pages so that they can have their own personal one, or everybody in that role can have one of those. It's a way for you to customize that data and customize the information and create actionable tools that you can use to be able to make the job easier and better and faster before you get outsourced to a machine learning thing. Just kidding. In transportation, we're making a bunch of improvements in the whole area of multimodal. And so now a shipper can get a complete view across all the multimodal ways that they're moving goods. And then a control layer that allows you to unify and bring together fractured views of what's happening in your transportation, because you might have different systems in different regions. This allows you to have something that sits over top of that and a unified view of how that works. So we're making investments in almost every area of the old GT Nexus software to bring improvements to you that we're going to show you over the next couple of days. You really, really need to not only pay attention here, but make time to go to the hub. And just for information, it's the supply chain portion of the hub, and they put us all the way in the back so that we don't embarrass anybody, no. So that you can go and take a look at all of this stuff. We want you to go play with it. And beyond that, we're actually now taking control of Infor's supply chain assets and move them underneath GT Nexus so that we can create an even wider end-to-end solution set for all the customers. So we're bringing together S&OP and demand planning with the GT Nexus network to be able to get better planning and to be able to sense and to be able to do real-time demand planning and be able to get that information and decide how much that you want to buy and get real-time feedback with that. And by the way, tomorrow we're going to talk about on main stage how we're combining that with artificial intelligence and the ability to not only sense and respond, but to predict and respond on a daily basis. How can you actually take the data you have and take the real-time feed of what stuff is selling to be able to real-time change your forecast, change your predictions, and then feed that information into GT Nexus so that you can collaborate with the vendors and say, can I get this stuff that the machine is telling me is going to sell? And how you join those together. And we'll be talking about that tomorrow on main stage. And then when you combine together the demand management and retail, producing a true control tower that allows you to have control and visibility across everything from demand all the way to supply. And then for manufacturing, bring together S&OP and GT Nexus so that you can have real-time visibility into manufacturing. And that manufacturing doesn't mean just one level. It can go multiple levels down the supply chain. And inventory visibility to warehouses. Not just your warehouse, but to networked warehouses. Warehouses that are actually maybe managed by your 3PLs. Visibility into the supply chain for things that are in motion and also in rest. But not just at rest in your warehouse, rest in other warehouses around the network, depending on how you're configured and what you're doing with 3PLs. We know this is really important in the drug industry, the chemical industry. We're working on a project with a large seed company based in Europe on this very thing, that'd be able to give them the full picture to every warehouse, whether they own it or not. And then our partners. Our partner network continues to grow. And I can't go any further without thanking all of our LSP partners who've been a big part of this network. And one of the things that we've done this year from an investment point of view is actually build a team to invest in just building new tools for the LSPs, because we know that they serve you. And if they can serve you better, it'll be better for the GT Nexus network. So this is another area where we're making tremendous investment. And then tomorrow there'll be a press release that HSBC has joined the network. What does that mean? It means if you're doing any trade in Asia, HSBC is going to work with us to provide financing options for all of your suppliers. And we have some great financial institution partners with RTS and with the World Bank and with a number of the different banks that we work with and other financial institutions. But adding HSBC to our partner list, they bank a lot of the people that you do business with. And by bringing them together, we can think about really collaborative ways that we can use finance in the supply chain to make everything flow better. And this announcement will go out tomorrow, so don't tell anybody.